Birdhurst Limited and Golden Bay Fruit are two sides of a major fruit growing and packing business owned and operated by the Wilkins family. We visited them at harvest time to see how the operation works. Heath Wilkins explains.
First and foremost, we're apple growers or fruit growers, and we need to concentrate 100% on growing the best possible fruit that we can grow. And that means growing the right size, the right yield per tree, and the right quality. So that's our first aim as fruit growers. In saying that, fundamentally we are not in a position that we just can give our fruit to a marketer and then sit here at the end of the day, at the end of the fence, and say, well, you know, what are you going to give us in 5 or 6 months' time? So we are becoming more down the line in with our marketers, working with the structures and how they're marketing our fruit. And we've been very proactive with taking some initiatives to the marketing companies of how to do things, and the marketing companies have been good, that they've allowed us to do special things. There's my father, Kerry, involved, and his brother, Farron. There's myself and my brother involved. So I've been in the business 20-odd years. Kerry and Farron started the business, or their parents started the business. When they came along, it was running a few cows many years ago, and then it progressed into tobacco. And we became one of the larger tobacco growers in the Motueka district when the tobacco era was booming. Tobacco sort of got phased out with the Muldoon government many years ago. So it pushed us into a phase of looking for the next direction. We leased orchards back in the tobacco days, and we took our quota onto the leased orchards and we redeveloped our own orchards. So we basically planted kiwi fruit. The first kiwi fruit would have been planted here in 78 or 1980. And then we became heavily into kiwi fruit, and basically we were one of the first growers down here in the Nelson region to plant kiwi fruit. There was 3 or 4 of us down here that did it, and that flowed on into, you know, our own pack house, our own cool store. The first cool store was built by our company, and we've been packing and cool storing and that ever since then. There were some fairly tough times in kiwi fruit in the late 80s, mid 80s, and I was only a young fellow in the business then, and I still remember the discussion around the shed when my father and Farron were talking about, you know, it was how tough it was, and the decision was made to sort of diversify into apples. And back then, in the apples where Royal Gala and Braeburn were coming on, they were showing significant returns, and we planted our first 6,000 trees in 1988 and basically started becoming apple growers then. We did go quite hard into the Braeburn and Royal Gala in those years, and to be fair to say, the Braeburn and Royal Gala in those early years, for the first half of their life, they were very, very good to the business. It was a single marketing structure with NZA, the New Zealand Apple and Pear Board, and basically when they controlled it, the Braeburn and Royal Gala went very well. Unfortunately, from New Zealand's point of view, the Royal Gala, which is still fundamentally a fantastic apple now, it was never controlled, so seedlings or the budwoods could be taken overseas. Chile and South Africa and the Northern Hemisphere could all grow Royal Gala, even though it was found in New Zealand and a New Zealand apple. We never controlled it, and so the supply and demand ratio got out of kilter. We sat here 5 years ago, and to develop, you've got to develop into a variety that you're going to fundamentally believe is going to take you for the next 20, 30 years. So it was a very risky time in our business 5, 6 years ago, because there wasn't really any varieties that were really standing out, that were proven track history and that sort of stuff. We looked at what apple was the best one that we thought at the time, and Jazz was probably one of the ones that ticked the most boxes for us. So we started to have a relationship with the owners of Jazz. Turners and Growers and NZA own the variety. They own the rights to allow you to plant the variety, and then they own all the marketing rights. So, you know, we've developed our orchards, not all into Jazz, but we've got Fuji and new Royal Gala strains and Pink Lady, and you know, so we're not just one variety, but we've got a basket of fruit.
Heath's brother Rhys is in charge of production and development at Birdhurst.
So this is high density planting. It's 3.3 row spacing by 1 metre. That's 3,000 trees a hectare. Went down this model, was sold to us. It was the most productive to get the fruit off the land and for a shed return, orchard return for us. There's a fair bit of tree training in this variety. It happens around this time of the year. In the winter it's pruning, and pruning's pretty straightforward. As you can see, each tree looks the same. It's pretty much just one rule as you go down the road. Well, we purchased these machines ex-Australia. Probably about this is the third season of having the machine there. And the reason behind it was to, since we've got the uniform rows, everything that's right spacing, we'll try and go mechanise them. It just made it a lot easier for the staff, not having to carry a bag all day and climb up and down the road. We've still got to do a lot of picking off a ladder. As you can see, we've got a few trees to get around, and 6 guys on each machine. It takes them a fair while to cover the ground. We're a part of the RSC scheme, which was brought in probably 3 years ago, I think it came in, and we heavily went into it and we needed a lot of pickers, so we decided we were going to get into it hard. As you see there, we've come from source staff from Vanuatu, and it's working pretty well now. We're in our third season with them now, and we'll have excess of 200 pickers at the end of this month of March when Jazz kicks in, all out here with bags and on the machine.
Our packing facility, or our logistics company that does all the packing and cool storing, is a company called Bay Fruit. Basically 4 or 5 years ago, Birdhurst was doing all the growing, all the packing, all the cool storing, and a lot of the marketing. And for a company, it was pushing us under a little bit of too much strain and pressure in key areas. So what we decided to do was to segregate our growing side of the business away from our packing and logistics and marketing side of the business. So we created a company called Bay Fruit with another local family organisation, Hayward's Orchards. So basically, Birdhurst leases its facility, its cool stores and pack house to Bay Fruit, and so to Hayward's. So we made a new company, employed a general manager, and that. So this company operates independently from our orchards now. On site we have controlled atmosphere cool stores, 6,500 bins, and they'll be completely utilised this year. Gives us flexibility into the market. You know, at the moment we're selling a lot of our fruit fixed money now, so everything we're packing at the moment is sold at fixed money. We know what money we're going to get for that. But the reality is we're going to have more fruit than we can sell right now, so we have to extend the selling season out. We don't know what value we're going to get for that fruit putting it away at the moment. We're hopeful that the market will continue to be improve or cover the extra cost of the CA that we do. We wanted to concentrate as from a growing point of view as purely as growers, and we wanted to put our resources into that. We've grown and we will pick and harvest around about 450,000 cartons of fruit. That's export fruit, so that's probably 500,000 gross TCEs that we will handle. And Hayward's, they will do around about 180,000. So all up, we're probably in the vicinity going to pack and market and sell around 650,000 cases of fruit this year.
The Birdhurst harvest is about 2% of New Zealand's total production.